Hi guys, it's Ellen, and today I have a new scrapbook layout to share with you. So I'm showing you this image here of a scrapbook layout that I found on Pinterest that really inspired me. I can't remember who created this. If you're interested, just comment down below and I will try and find it for you. But I really wanted to use up my scraps. So normally when I sit down to make a scrapbook layout, I pick one collection and I just sort of work with what I've got from that collection. I might add in a few bits, but I mainly just work with that. So I didn't want to do that this time. I wanted to use up some scraps, use up some bits and pieces from different collections that I've got. As it turns out, a lot of it ends up being Cocoa Vanilla Daydream collection, but I do use things from other places as well. So the image that I'm scrap lifting has loads of paper layers, so I thought that would be brilliant to use up all of these little pieces, all of these scrap pieces of pattern papers that I've got, and they're all beautiful, so I couldn't bear to part with them, but they just sort of sit in a folder and they're not being used. So yeah, I've taken mainly sort of the pinks and blues from this collection and just layered them out similarly to how they are layered on the page that I've scrap lifted. So they're all different sizes, and then I've also ripped all of the ends of them so they're not sort of straight lines, and I'm just layering them up on top of each other, just trying to get happy with the composition. My photo here, this is of me and Theo. This is almost a year ago now, so Theo turned 1 on the 12th of November. I can't believe I have a 1-year-old already, so I'm really enjoying going back through these photos of when he was so little. This was in December, so yeah, he would have been around a month old at the time this photo was taken, and yeah, it's just lovely to look back on. It makes me a little bit emotional that he's growing up, but I have so many Theo photos to scrap, so I really need to get move on with them. So I'm pretty happy with how I've layered up all of those pattern papers. So they're pretty much going to stay how you see them here. I've got the gorgeous floral paper that I've used to back my photo, and I also backed it with some tissue paper just to give a soft sort of border around my photo. And then all of these pattern pieces I'm going to distress with my scissors. I really like the look of distressed edges. I struggle actually to just leave my edges normally now. I've got so used to distressing them. So yeah, I'm just going through all of them, and I will layer my pieces back on because I want to add a little bit of mixed media to this page. So I'm going to lay them back on the page so I can sort of draw a little guide of where I want to do my mixed media. So I just did that in pencil. Yeah, I'll just go around it with a pencil just to give myself a rough guide, because I don't want to put a load of mixed media on the page and then cover it all up with those paper layers. So here I've just got clear gesso, and I've just used a palette knife to put that all over the page because my mixed media is going to be pretty spread out and I find it easier. And then I'm going to add some foam to the back of my photo because I know I want that to be popped up on the page. My title is a bramble fox perspective, and it says remember this with a little arrow with a heart, and the pink just went perfectly with the pinks in the papers that I've used. So I love that, and I know I'm going to have sort of a big paper layer where my photo is going to go, and then a smaller paper layer at the bottom of the layout where my title is going to go. So I'm just going to start layering up these pieces. I'm waiting for the gesso, the clear gesso, to dry on my page. I'm just going to attach these pieces all together so that I can move them all around as one piece rather than keep putting them on and off the page constantly. So I'm just using some thin double-sided tape to get all of the layers in place. I'm also going to take some of this white mesh material and add that behind my photo and pattern paper. I love the look of different textures on my page, so that's a great way to add it in. This is actually Aldi do these reusable bags to put like your fruit and vegetables in, and I always forget to take mine, so I've ended up with loads of them, and I've been using them in my scrapbooking. They're just a really soft white material, and it just looks really nice behind, just poking out from behind the different layers. So yeah, that's where that's from. To add some more texture and some more interest to these paper layers, I'm also going to add a little bit of lace. This is my lace tin here. I've got a lot now, and I'm just picking one to go under two spots on my two clusters, so the one with the photo and the one with the title, and yeah, I'm just using a pretty white lace, it just sort of pokes out, it just adds something a little bit extra to my page. So here my gesso is dried, so I've just drawn a faint pencil line where my paper layers sit, so I know that my mixed media needs to come out further than those lines. I've got just some Tim Holtz Distress ink here, and it's the Victorian Velvet, I think it's called, the pretty pink. It's a muted pink, it's not a bright pink, and I've scraped some of that straight onto the page, and then I'm adding water to spread that colour around. I'm also then using a paintbrush and my finger just to manipulate that paint, to manipulate that ink to where I want it to show through. And I do a couple of layers of the ink just to make it a little bit darker. So you can see here I've stitched through where the lace sits in those paper clusters, just to hold it in place, but also I like the look of stitching. And then I've placed my clusters back on top to see if I'm happy with the mixed media, and I'm not. I want it to be a bit darker, I want it to come out a little bit further as well. So that's what I'm doing here, just adding more ink and spreading that paint around with a paintbrush and water, and I'm also adding some splatters. So I'm waiting for my ink to dry on my page, so I thought I would start working on these chipboard pieces. These are from Dusty Attic. I believe they're foliage number 8, and I want to paint them. I love to paint my chipboard, just especially with my gold paint. I love the way it looks. So this is Deco Art metallic gold paint. Yeah, and I'm just using a thin paintbrush and painting all of the chipboard. It's a lovely paint, it only needs one coat to do this, and it's so sparkly. The chipboard really brings out the sparkle in the paint. So yeah, I'm just going to paint those. I've actually broken one of them, but I'll stick them together on the page and you won't really notice. So yeah, I'm going to wait for them to dry, and my page is still drying as well. And once it's dry enough, I can add a little bit more mixed media to the page. So I'm just using my paper towel here just to dab up some of the areas where the water and paint have pooled on the page. And then I've got a cross stencil and my Fabrica Decoru metallic antique gold mousse, I think it's called. And again, I'm going to add this so that it's just poking out from behind those paper layers on my page. And this mousse is so lovely to work with. I absolutely love it. And again, it's very shiny and sparkly. It just looks really pretty on the page. And I'm also going to use that mousse watered down to add some splatters. I could have just done this with my gold paint, but that would be more of a brighter gold, and for this background I wanted it to be a more muted gold, antique gold like it's called. So yeah, I've just watered that down and added that to the page. I've splattered over where I've done the stenciling, so yeah, it's just a little bit of extra gold. So everything's dry, I can put my page back together, and this is the basic layout of my page. I've got the two of the foliage pieces behind my photo and one behind my title cluster. I'm then taking some more of this cocoa vanilla paper, pattern paper, the floral one, and a fussy cut out some florals to add around my clusters. And then this is my box of use it up things, so things from old collections that I've got left over and really want to use. So I've taken some flowers. These are from a Dear Lizzie pattern paper. Such a beautiful paper. I cut out all of the flowers, and yeah, I'm going to use some of them. I've also got some ephemera from the Daydream collection from Cocoa Vanilla. And I'm just finding things that are similar colours and things that go with the photo really. So I've got this house, and at this point in time we were back in lockdown, so the house worked well because obviously we were in the house a lot. So I'm going to fussy cut that. That's actually from a cut apart sheet of the Cocoa Vanilla pattern papers. And then the flowers from the Dear Lizzie paper really match the colours of the Cocoa Vanilla papers. So I'm going to cluster a few of these around my photo as well. And I'm adding things at different layers. So obviously I've got the chipboard, and some things will stick on top of that, meaning it's got sort of dimension, and then some things I'll stick flat. It just adds more interest to the page, in my opinion. I don't like everything to be one level. So yeah, that's a good way to add dimension. So I'm going to start sticking some of these flowers down because I'm pretty happy with the placement. And that fine liner bottle there has got my tacky glue in, so that's the best thing I find to stick these down. And it also sticks my chipboard down really nicely as well. I haven't found that it lifts or anything, so yeah, I'm just going to use that to stick everything in place. So finally I am sticking down my Bramble Fox title. Again, that sticks really nicely with my tacky glue. I've not had a problem with it lifting or anything. I ordered quite a few things from Bramble Fox, so I got this little freebie. It's like a little tag with a heart cut out in white, so I've added that to the page. I've just cut some of the foam from behind my photo so I can add that because it's about the same thickness, and I didn't want the corner of my photo to be poking up. And then I've got these beautiful hearts. They're in blues, golds, a really pale pink, and I think grey as well. So I'm just going to scatter a few of these around because the colours just match perfectly the colours that I've used in this collection. So I just add a couple. My instinct is to throw loads at the page, and I'm trying not to do that. So I'm trying to add a couple of the dark blue and then a couple of the pink, and just leave it a little bit more sparse than I normally would do. So yeah, I'm just adding those to the page. So the final thing I've done is just snipped off the edge of the pattern paper and written my date on the bottom, which was December 2020. And that's my page all finished. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you very much for being here. Bye guys!